And welcome back to Trial by Error. I am Aiden.
I am Rick.
Everybody, please welcome. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. I kind of did, I guess.
You kind of did?
I kind of did.
Why
you
kinda?
know what? I'm being dramatic. I actually did. It was good to see everybody.
Yeah.
It was good to see everybody. How about you, Rick? How was yours?
we had two because our family's just so big. We had two different ones, which we usually have done that in the past. One Wednesday night for friends and one Thursday for family. But our family, my mother discovered an old cousin of hers, and two more of her cousins were in the neighborhood, so they all came over on Wednesday night, and then we went to my aunt's on Thursday. And a couple of years ago, our family was it was pretty small. It was just my aunt, my uncle, my mom, my dad, my brother, and I, and then our two cousins. That was about it, because all the older people have unfortunately happens. They've died off. So our family's huge now. We've got all these kids, and everyone's having kids, and we're finding all these relatives we didn't know about. It's wonderful. And after last year, I think we can all agree that we are thankful to be back with people.
Mm-hmm.
I put out a little special, you knew this. I put out a little special thing. Greg Lee had the song that I think epitomizes Thanksgiving. If you haven't heard that special Thanksgiving episode that dropped on Thanksgiving, go do yourself a favor and go find that episode, because there are no Thanksgiving carols, but there should be.
That's right.
And I don't think, I think that this one maybe is plenty now. It's kind of enough for all of the Thanksgivings. This could be the quintessential Thanksgiving carol.
It was great. It was good to hear that. And I asked you, and you said that he released it like 10 or so years ago. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's a great little number that he did.
Well, I sent him a text, because I was going through my my contacts. I've met a lot of people throughout the course of 2020 and 2021, and my life's so different than I ever thought it would be. I mean, we never know how it's going to turn out, but things are just so different for me. And so I'm going through my phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got this person in my phone. I got this person in my phone. And then I get to Greg. I'm like, oh, I got to send Greg a message. And so I sent him a message. I thought he might be a little too busy. Like Manu, if you're listening, Manu, I sent you a text too, buddy. You can return it. But I sent Greg a message, and he got right back to me. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, Greg!" And so then he sent me the video, which I thought was fantastic.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, I was waiting to tell you.
Uh-huh.
I want to get your reaction to this, because I came home from the record store today. Yes, I went Black Friday shopping, and for those people who dread Black Friday shopping, it's terrible. I really don't want to do it ever again. It's
bad.
Anyway, I came back, and my mom sent me this article as soon as I went through the doors. As soon as I walked through, I looked at it. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. And I looked it up. I'm like, Rick, Stephen Sondheim just passed away.
Oh, I just saw that.
Yes.
A friend of mine sent me that article. Yeah, 91.
91, and he passed away peacefully. I saw that he went through Thanksgiving with his family. I believe it was in Massachusetts, because he has an apartment in Manhattan. I know that. But I heard he spent time with his family. He got to do that before he passed away this morning.
Oh, wow.
Black Friday this morning. But he was one of my idols. I looked up to him. Sweeney Todd is my favorite musical of all time, and I just love his lyrics. He was a genius in the musical
his
world.
Lyrics are really clever. There's a lot of plays on words and plays on words, and it's crazy. I personally enjoyed Sweeney Todd a lot. Of course, I was a naughty percussionist, and I was playing auxiliary percussion at this one show for this one part. And I took the triangle striker, and there was a trumpet player girl sitting in front of me. And so, as Sweeney Todd's on stage slitting the throats, I took my triangle striker on the closing night, and I just took it across her throat, and she audibly gasped, and it was hysterical. But that's all thanks to Stephen Sondheim, one of the absolute greats of many generations. My goodness,
Many.
I mean, I don't think the guy ever stopped. I think he was just a force of nature.
Yeah, I think he was still writing like I don't know if during COVID he was, but maybe a couple years ago I think he released something new. I don't know how big it got, but you're talking Sunday in the Park with George, Sweeney Todd, Assassins is a fantastic musical. I love
Into
that.
the Woods.
Oh my God.
Yeah, got to
Genius.
mention that one.
Oh yes. Agony.
Far more greater than yours.
Or greater than yours. Oh my
My
goodness.
God, that's so sad.
It is sad.
But
Anyway,
but you know how rejoicing for that long and amazing life he had and all that he contributed to fine arts and to the musical form. It's just it's really awesome.
oh yes. It really is.
It kind of got dark there a little bit, a little sad all of a sudden.
A little sad. Oh,
So I actually put up a ceiling fan today. That's how
you put
exciting
up
my day was.
a
I put up a
ceiling
ceiling fan.
fan.
Yeah, I put it up. I punched a hole in my man card for that one. I've
Oh
never put
boy.
up a ceiling fan. My mom and dad were like, "You help me put up the ceiling fan." I said, "Yeah, I can help you put up the ceiling fan."
So wait,
I
you put up the ceiling fan by
I
yourself
I put up the ceiling fan by myself.
in your house?
No, in my parents' house, my
Oh, in
mom
your
and
parents'
dad's.
house.
Yeah,
Okay, so they needed a ceiling fan and you put it
they
up by
did.
yourself.
And I did all the things. My mom helped me with a couple of the blades. She held them up for me, steadied it, and I did all the stuff and whatever. Came time to flip the breaker back on. Nothing. Nothing at all. Flipped
Hmm.
the switch on the wall a couple of times. Nothing. So I'm getting ready to take it all apart again, and I thought, well, what if I just pull on the cords? And it came on. That's just the kind of day I'm having.
So did it have like the two main cords?
Yeah.
Did it have a light on it? So you pull the
They have
switch?
them labeled. They have them labeled. Yes. The
Ah,
one little cord
okay.
has a fan symbol on it, and the other one has a light symbol on it. I'm a fan of that.
Oh no. That's too early. That's
And
too
I was having
early.
trouble with my seatbelt, but it clicked eventually.
I
Oh
just
my
want to see the
God.
comments. Like if people understand these puns that he's making, I just want you to go on our Facebook page and like give us your best puns because
Yeah, we can read them.
we'll read them for you. If you want to send us your puns, we will say them on the
That
air.
should be a new thing. Can you
Yes.
outpun us? And
Ooh.
and uh, and I don't know. We can take turns. Like maybe I can get the honest pun out of Aiden, and Aiden can get the honest pun out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good season. We got some pretty cool guests lined up.
Oh
I don't really
yes.
want to. I don't really want to give too much away,
No.
obviously. And we're recording these out of sequence, so I got to be careful what I say when I say it, so I don't give
Mm-hmm.
anything away. But we've got some really, really, really great guests coming up.
We do.
Some of the stories that I've seen, I saw one on Inside Edition, and I sent an email just hoping for the best, and they're like, "Yeah, let's do this." I'm like, "You're kidding? All right, cool." Another, I got in touch with an indie rock band that was pretty big a couple of years ago, and they unfortunately they don't do anything now. But I got in touch with their lead singer, and he's game. He's game to come on. An actor from a famous show from the 1990s, and that's all I'll say about that.
Ooh.
Yes,
Famous show, 1990s.
yes.
There's a lot.
Also, more of a supernatural take on an episode this year. We have
Ooh.
a person who is involved in science, but also involved in some really fascinating parapsychology. So, parapsychology, of course, being the study of the paranormal. So, he's got some really cool things, and I cannot wait to bring him onto the show. So, lots and lots and lots. Plus, you're going to hear from a couple of our old friends this season
Mm-hmm.
with a little segment we got coming up. And that'll give you the opportunity as an audience to also chime in. If we happen to read, I won't say too much more, but if we happen to read something of yours, because we're going to be searching the internet for things, if it happens to be yours, you will have a chance to come onto the show and be our special guest. So, You remember I
Yes.
told you about that idea, right? I didn't just like throw that
Oh,
at
I
you.
know. I
Okay, good.
cannot wait for that segment to come out.
It's gonna be a doozy.
It is going to be an absolute doozy. I think we might even go over an hour with that. We're going to have so much fun with it.
Oh, it's gonna be sick. That's crazy.
Oh, yes.
Um, so
Well,
yeah, and we're gonna do a few standalones with just you and me, I think, talking about whatever. And
mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, we're just gonna keep cranking them out as much as we can till we feel we need a break, and that'll be season 2. I mean, we don't really have like a set like September to blah blah time, do we? It's not like
No, not really.
we didn't really even set out to do seasons, but I think that's just kind of how it's naturally evolved into that.
It's just evolved into like whatever episode we record and then we release that one. It's not with a season or so forth. We just
Yeah.
release them at our own will.
Yeah, and we will try to let everybody know, of course, whenever we are taking a break. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, very good. So
That
anything else exciting? Anything else you've discovered this week that you tried?
I tried.
Well, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that.
Hmm.
Is there anything else you can talk about that you've tried? Like maybe you have you've read a new book or you've heard a new song.
All right. Heard a new song.
Gotta watch what I say.
No, no, you're good. Let me think.
Any movies? Anything like that?
Any movies?
I want to see Ghostbusters. I've heard nothing but good things.
You know what? Did it come out in on Halloween?
I think so, and I'm
Because
way behind.
I'm behind it too because I keep seeing trailers for it.
It
And
looks
I'm like,
fantastic.
the thing I'm buying into it, I'm not a big fan of sequels and reboots. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, of course, because I'm a
Sure.
Ghostbusters fan. But you see Paul Rudd and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of have to see it now because I love Paul Rudd.
I want to see that. I want to see Dune.
I saw Dune.
Oh, don't tell me. It was it good?
I personally loved it.
Okay.
I personally loved it.
That's
Now,
good.
if you're not a nerd, geek, sci-fi fan like Rick and I, just watch it with an open mind because it sticks to the story really well. I will say it's better than the 1984 version with Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah. Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, sorry. you know what? I love certain aspects of that movie, and I love Kyle MacLachlan as an actor. I think he's great.
Sting, Patrick Stewart.
Oh, you can't forget Sting, the hair,
Yeah.
the orange fiery hair that he
Yeah.
had. It was great. That my brother didn't like it as much as
The
I
new
did.
one.
Yeah, he hasn't seen the original, but he saw this because he was down in Florida with friends in college. And he's like, okay, we'll go see it. It's the first movie he saw in the theater in like months.
Yeah, right.
And he didn't quite understand it
Well,
because he's
they're
not
all-
a nerd like us.
All right, so my introduction to it was a video game, like on Sega Genesis. My friend
That's
had
right.
it, and I'm like, "This is what is this? This is like a weird Star Wars." At first, is what I thought,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw that it was a movie, but I could never find the movie, and then I saw that it was on the Sci-Fi Channel. A few years later, there was a little mini series, which I loved it. I thought it was great. We got like I still have it. It's a 3 VHS set of Dune, and it's got Alec Newman and the whole cast there.
There's a big cast.
It was a big cast, and a couple of these people went on to do other sci-fi projects on the Sci-Fi Channel. And but apparently, and I have to admit, you say it follows the book. I would believe you even if it didn't follow the book because I've never read the book. I'm a poser. I did not read the book.
I started reading it. I had to buy it
Okay.
after I watched this. And keep in mind, people, if you're going to watch Dune, just know it's part one.
There's going to be more.
There's going to be a part two because they
Oh.
weren't sure how big it was going to be a hit when they released it. But now, since they got as much money as they were hoping for and more on opening weekend, they're going to make a part two.
Oh, dang. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, and the other thing I really liked about it was that it wasn't it wasn't a condescending story. Like, you did not need any kind of prerequisite knowledge
No,
of this world. Like, you didn't have to you go to any tie-in comic book.
like
I mean,
Star
it helps.
Wars.
Well, yeah, in Star Wars, it's all about, they're smart. They're marketing that thing as much as they can. It's genius if you think about it,
It
little
is.
Easter eggs here and there. But, Dune was like, it was very, I thought, relevant at that time as well. Like, there was just a lot of the same kind of socioeconomic issues in the world, and a lot of just a lot of angst. And I mean, there are some science fiction elements, obviously. I mean, they've got space travel. We have sort of space travel, sort of.
Sort of.
We got Shatner going up for 10 minutes and
Yeah.
coming back. We got that kind of space travel. We don't have a shuttle program or anything like that.
But what Star Trek doesn't have that Dune has is the sandworm.
Oh my God, that sandworm gives me the willies.
You will love the sandworm in Dune. Now,
we're not talking like a little night crawler. We're talking like bigger than the
talking
Sarlacc.
about a quarter mile. Yeah. Oh, yes.
It's bigger than the Sarlacc.
It's
We are
way much bigger than the Sarlacc. And
We're going to go full nerd right now.
yes, yes. And I think we should get to our guests, but I just want to say I nerded out so much when that sandworm came out on screen. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, wow. They actually brought it out and it looks awesome.
Oh, man, you're not ruining anything because I knew there was going to be a sandworm. I cannot wait to see this.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's better than the trailer. Believe me. It
So
is.
our guest, he's in the waiting room then?
Yes, he is.
Oh, my
Shall we
gosh.
get to him?
This guy is a science fiction nerd as well. I cannot wait. This guy is super awesome. That is one of his catchphrases. I cannot wait to bring him on. Let's do it. This is Art Brown. Mr. Art Brown, welcome to Trial by Error, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
We are thrilled to have you. Aiden and I were just talking about science fiction right before you got on.
Ooh.
And I've not seen Dune yet. Aiden has seen Dune. Have you seen Dune?
I have.
The new one.
Yeah.
And what, without giving anything away, what are your first reactions?
That's
You
my
just
reason.
crushed my heart, sir.
In the words of Casey Stengel, it's just the sort of thing you like if you like that sort of thing.
Aha.
You
Okay,
know
well,
what?
that kind of
That's true.
that sort of validates what you were saying, Aiden. You have to be kind of into science fiction.
You
to
have
kinda
to
like
be
that
in it.
sort of
You
thing.
have to love the story. You have
Yeah.
to love what it stands for, etc.
Well, I'm into science fiction. I love science fiction. I'm a big. I was just watching the latest episode of Discovery,
Oh,
which I
missed it.
stopped to be here with you. Discovery is the best Star Trek series ever.
I really, really like Discovery as well. I think it's getting a lot of unnecessary hate. I think it's great, though. You're absolutely right.
Haters gonna hate. Haters
Yeah,
gonna hate.
right?
man.
Mm-hmm.
Discovery is the best Star Trek ever. I must say, they have a fantastic Star Trek exhibit down here in L.A. at one of the museums. I blanking on the name, but we went to it, my girlfriend and I, because she's also a big Trek fan, and we just had a ball. They have a little thing where you can make a little mock movie of you being transported to another ship, and so we did that. And then I took the video and I made a bigger movie out of it.
Well, the Beeman, when you came back, I saw that you showed that to me. It was a little rough for you. I'm glad you're doing better now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
were-
was dead, so
Jim,
you
yeah.
can't get any sicker than that.
Yeah, they brought you back. That was good. That was nice of
He's
them.
dead, Jim.
Oh my gosh. So you're from a little town in New York.
Yes. Your listeners may not have heard of it. It's not very well known. It's
Right.
called Brooklyn. And we have a number of bridges that connect it to that other island just west of it.
I don't think I've been there. What's the name of that island?
I think it's called oh God, I'm blanking the I don't know.
Manhasset?
Man had a something.
Man had a drink.
Man had a drink.
Man had a drink.
Growing up, people would just call Manhattan the city, which is
Mm.
Oh man,
lame. Yeah.
that's kind of snobby. Yeah, we're from like the woods of Pennsylvania, and that's
We are.
accurate enough.
Oh, okay. What town? Altoona?
Actually, that's almost exactly where I am. Almost
Wow.
exactly. That was pretty good.
Oh. Well, I want to thank you for the Niqua salad.
You are welcome. You are so
Yeah.
welcome.
That's tuna.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I was late to that one. Oh,
You were a
man.
little late, but you've had a long day Black Friday shopping, so.
I did stand up for many years, and at least 40% of my jokes would be met with crickets. I just, accepted that.
I've done sit down for a lot of years too.
But you never
So,
stopped. You never stopped doing stuff.
I've never stopped. I'm still doing it right now.
Yes.
I enjoy it.
Toilet humor. That's sit down comedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a crappy joke, but I mean, we'll go with it. We'll roll with it.
It's all shitty.
So,
Yeah. So, have you seen Discovery? It's
yes, I'm hooked. I really am looking forward to what they got going on this season. I like the development of Saru, and I really am excited that we get to see more of that. He's my favorite. I really love Saru. I think that, all the aliens from Star Trek, like Data, we'll call him an alien, even though he was an android. Spock. Let's see, DS9, you got all those aliens. You got Odo, and you got Quark, all these guys. I think that has been always the best mirror for humanity. I think that you see what humanity could be through the eyes of these different aliens, and their development is something we can aspire to. I know it's just a show, but it's a great show.
And I love, speaking of aliens, something Star Trek has always done, continues to do. It's kind of a signature. When there's a crowd scene, there's a lot of different people, and the camera will pan. You'll see one fish-faced guy. You'll never hear from him again. Somebody with a giant fish head. And then it's like, okay, I get it. We're in space.
Just in case you weren't aware.
So true, though.
There's no lines. Never has nothing to do with the plot. It's just in passing,
The Altoona alien.
But I could talk about Discovery forever.
Yeah,
I
we
just
could.
think they really reinvented Star Trek in a brilliant way.
And I don't want to spoil the show for anybody, but I mean, season 3 was a huge surprise because there was a shall we say, a time jump.
Yes.
And you could get this, you can glean this from the previews. They go to a future which is basically technologically bankrupt, which I thought was very interesting concept. Like, you go to the future expecting all this stuff, and they're like, well, nah, things kind of suck right now, and let's go, let's fix it up here, go team. And so they did that in a way, like they always do, a Star Trek way, and it was awesome.
What I also really love, and then we could move on to other topics if you like.
If you like,
is that it's so diverse. It's so like clearly diverse and gender fluid. There's a gay couple. There's it's beautiful. And you have the protagonist is an African American woman. It's badass too. It's great.
Yeah, don't mess with her.
Yeah. Oh no. Do not mess with Michael Burnham.
Never. And good for her her promotion, we shall say.
Yes.
Well earned.
Without dropping any more.
But
if you like Star Trek, tune in Discovery, and we get no extra money from Paramount Plus.
it'd be nice if we did.
Yeah.
So, you are a voice actor.
That is correct. Correct.
How'd you get into that?
Well, I've always been an actor. I've always been a comedian and a singer, and I've been a paid performer, paid entertainer since I was a kid. It's all that I ever wanted to do. I distinctly, I can still remember, and this was so many years ago, being 5 and having the thought, why would anyone want to do anything for a job besides be a clown, make people laugh? And a big inspiration of mine at that age was Red Skelton, which some of your listeners might
I know who
remember.
that is.
Yes.
Yeah, he was, he's just the ultimate physical and comedian. He could do anything, and the love always came through. You could always feel his heart under everything.
And he was a great composer too. I didn't know that until just a few years ago. He actually was
Really?
a pretty skilled composer.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that either. I knew he was a painter.
Yeah, but he had a lot going on.
something that he would do, and this is indicative of him. In his later years, after the TV was over, he would do live shows in Vegas from time to time, and he would also sell his paintings because he had a lot of time. He would made a lot of oil paintings of clowns, and on a number of occasions, he would have one frame where he'd have himself made up like a clown behind the frame. And as people would get closer, he would just hang out in the hallway of the theater, Like, hi, I'm Red Skull.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. It sounds like his paintings, he drew a lot of inspiration from that.
Yeah.
And like a segue, how about this? What was your biggest inspiration into doing like voice acting?
My biggest inspiration would have to be Mel Blanc. He's the father of animation voiceover.
Every voice.
Yeah, nobody. He did all of the Looney Tune characters except for Elmer. A lot of people think he did Elmer too, but that was another fellow. Mel Blanc did something unique. When Bugs started getting really famous, they offered him a raise. He said, no, essentially, I don't want a raise. I want credit. So he was the first voice actor. If you see the Looney Tunes, it says voice characterizations by Mel Blanc. And that was worth more than any raise.
Oh, yes.
But, who was Elmer Fudd? I hate to take away from Mel Blanc, but who played Elmer Fudd?
He was a guy, most people don't know about him. He was an actor named Arthur Q. Bryan.
Oh, okay.
And you can Google it. You can YouTube. There's a couple of little films of Arthur Q. Bryan, and that's the only voice he did. But it's fantastic to see this guy. And he looked like Elmer Fudd. He was kind of a fat guy, Hello.
Method actor.
Oh, there's one Looney Tune cartoon, A Corny Concerto, which was Warner Brothers' take on Disney's Fantasia, And I could see this a million times, and I'll fall off my seat every time. There's one, I think they do the Blue Danube, and then Elmer is in a tuxedo. He's like the MC. And he says, "Wasn't that lovely?"
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I used to watch that.
It goes wound and wound, and it comes out here.
So you've been at this for how many years exactly?
Well, I've been at acting and comedy my entire life, and I'm in LA for 3 years. I left New York in 2018 and bought a car and pointed it west and started again here. And I was touring in a wonderful show called Old Jews Telling Jokes. I played an old Jew and I told jokes. Took all of my acting training and skill.
Please say more.
And then this thing called COVID happened, and we were all locked down. And I went back into the closet and I brought a microphone.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons I left my marriage to come out here, to come out of the closet, but I went back in. I tell people sometimes I lock myself in a padded room and talk to imaginary people.
With a lot of different voices.
Yes. A lot of different voices, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what kind of things give you inspiration? Like, you were inspired clearly to make that change. Like, do you have the same kind of inspiration you had when you were younger, or does it like morph? Are there like little other inspirations? Like, what inspires Art Brown?
Well, for those of us in the performing arts, in the entertainment, storytelling field, whether you're an actor, comedian, singer, writer, podcast host, the business model makes no fucking sense, So we do it because we have to do it. It sounds cliche, but you have the bug. It's got to come out. Gotta dance. It's it's just it's got to come out of you. I used to say when I was doing stand up, and then I decided to retire and say comedy is in my bones, like some kind of hilarious leukemia. And then I realized, oh, that's pretty dark art. You know?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Well, okay.
So I just love doing it, and like a lot of us, particularly those of us in the arts, we do a lot of juggling. So generally, for most of us, being in the arts doesn't make a lot of financial sense, and we have to do something else to bring the money in. So I've also had an IT career in IT, which I built. I'm a dad. I raised 2 kids in New York, and I had to put reliable money on the table. But I put up with it. I never really liked doing it. And now I'm focusing on doing what I love. And, you know, again, it's cliche, but do what you love. Do what you love. You know, anybody listening to me, just fucking do what you love. We're all going to die. We're all going to die, you know, not to be morbid or anything, but that's a fact. Every one of us will leave our bodies one day. And so, you know, who cares? Do what you love. It's not that important.
That's pretty amazing.
Everything else is not that crucial.
You know, we can all draw inspiration just from that. That should just be something they teach you. But I mean, how do you teach that? You can obviously teach inspiration, but
and
I love that.
What you love for work, you've solved work. You've really solved work. Because, you know, I go into my booth and I record an audiobook and they pay me, and I'm like, I'm sitting here doing funny voices, you know, and having people talk to each other, and this is what I used to do as a kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what's really, really weird about you and get the world to pay you for it. That's Art Brown's secret of success.
That's your secret of success.
That's our episode title now, as a matter of fact. That's going to become our episode title. So,
what are we going to call it? Let me write it down. It just escaped my mind all of a sudden. I need to write it down.
Figure out what's really weird about you.
And get the world to pay you for it. George Bernard Shaw famously said, youth is wasted on the young. And, you know, ooh, hi. Speaking of youth.
Oh, yes. I got my, this is my second born. I have a third born on the way as of Monday coming up here. We got a third born. We'll have 3 and we're done. So, impending baby.
What's your name?
Say what your name is.
My name is Evelyn Alice Kane.
Evelyn Alice Kane.
Ooh.
And how old are you, Evelyn Alice Kane?
3.
3.
Oh, I'm 3 also.
He says he's also 3.
Okay.
I'm mentally 3. Do you like cartoons?
You like cartoons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
He's a cartoon character.
Yay.
Be very quiet.
I'm taking a bath tonight.
You said you're taking a bath tonight?
She's excited about this.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Taking a bath is very important.
I went in and out.
What'd she say?
I did.
She said she's in and out.
I won in
Gotcha.
and out.
I believe it. I believe it. She's fast. So, but yeah, that's Evelyn. I have
Find Daddy, and I'm the fastest.
She went to find Daddy, and she's the fastest.
Oh, okay.
A lot faster than Mommy right now.
Well,
So,
I'm very
Aiden,
happy to meet you.
Say thank you, Evie.
Thank you, Ed.
I did not tell her to do that. That's amazing.
Oh, she's the best.
So, Aiden, do you want to take the next one since I got a crawler here on me?
Sure, yeah, I see you have a crawler in your closet. Oh my goodness.
Guys.
Oh!
Hi. Huh.
Show stealer.
What's cooking, Doc?
He said, what's cooking, Doc?
Be very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
All right, give me a kissy. Let's say hi to your sister for me.
I love this radio show that's just forming on cue. This is amazing.
That was great.
Thank you.
Great.
She's adorable. Oh my goodness.
Best thing, the kids are the best thing that's ever happened to me. Absolutely.
Yes, I have two, and they grew up.
Yeah.
We'll grow up too. So treasure these moments.
Oh my, yes.
Yes.
Now, I
Right,
think
right around the corner is Dad. Leave me alone.
Yeah, how about it?
I find myself constantly saying that more and more while I'm here on break. You're like, leave me alone. I just want my peace.
He's at pup. He's home on college from college on Thanksgiving break.
Oh, nice.
He's a young pup.
Where are you wrecking your school? Where are you going to school?
Where I'm wrecking my school. I go to Temple University in Philadelphia
Oh, okay.
for media production.
Okay. So favorite cheesesteak?
Ooh.
Ooh, hate to ruin you. I'm a vegetarian.
Ah, well, that's okay. I was a vegetarian for many years.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
many years. I
I like
actually
going to
wrote a
Pat's.
book on vegetarian dining, and then I moved out here, and I was dating a girl, and she said, "Let's go for steak." I said, well, "Okay."
I will say before I went
Well,
vegetarian, Phillips cheesesteaks. I can't remember the street it's on, but Phillips cheesesteaks in Philadelphia is probably my all-time favorite. Tony Luke's, Pat's, those are the most famous ones, but
yeah.
the ones you don't know about are the best, in my opinion. Aw.
I like Pat's or Gino's, but I prefer Pat's.
Yeah, I prefer Pat's as well.
Yeah.
Pat's is king of steaks.
I'll be out in a little while, okay? After the show, I'll be out.
I'll be out in a little while, honey. Honey, Daddy's working. Daddy's working here now, honey.
This is the door.
Honey, close the door.
All right, sorry, we're back.
Stop hitting your sister, honey. Stop.
Go ahead, Aiden.
You know what? Okay, back on track. Art. Was there like a particular failure you embraced in your career and then you just made it get better eventually?
Well, lots of failure. You know, failure is an interesting word.
Yeah.
And I think not to wax too philosophical, although I do like wax. But you know, I mean, if you think of, I'm a baseball fan. If you think of a Hall of Fame, somebody who gets into the Hall of Fame, a Hall of Fame batter, they need to have a 300 average to get into the Hall of Fame. Well, that means that for every 10 times I got up to the plate, they struck out 7 times. So you gotta get up and be absolutely willing to fail miserably, fail big, fall on your ass, learn from it, dust yourself off, do it again. I could remember when I was a kid first getting on stage, I was so nervous. Oh my God, people are watching me. What do I do with my hands? What do I do with my body? You know. And now you can't shut me up. I'll get up in front of any crowd and do anything. I have no fear whatsoever.
Yeah, but now you have no fear at all. You learned from it. So you obviously had
learned from it. I had to fall on my ass a lot and feel humiliated. And I remember one time I was in a show in New York. There's a theater called Theater for the New City. And it was a show. There were 3. I was the lead in the show, and there were 3 monologues, 3 acts. In the beginning of each show, there's a spotlight. I come down, deliver this long monologue, and then step back into the action pursuit. And one night I came out, stepped into the spotlight. Everyone's looking at me like I couldn't remember anything. This absolutely went up. And I had images in my head of running off stage screaming. But I said, oh, no, that's not a good idea. And, but yeah, actor's nightmare. And then, and they were looking at me and I was looking at them and just breathing and trying to calm myself down. And then somebody sneezed and I said, Gesundheit. And everybody laughed and that broke the spell. And then and they all thought it was part of the show. So
that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've fallen on my ass many times as an actor, as a writer, as a singer. So what? Get up and do it again. You're not going to die.
I think that, and we've talked about that on this show before, trial by error, making mistakes and learning from them. I feel like that failure is discouraged a lot in school. I'm a teacher, and so I've seen it. Thankfully, I'm in elementary school where I don't see it as much now, but in the high school world, man, it was brutal. It was just, some of these poor kids, they were just under such constant, horrible pressure. And they lost who they were. I just read a quote. It says that they come to school different, and then they leave all the same. And it's kind of sad. It's tragic. So, I mean, I think that if we let them fail in a controlled way, obviously, we don't want them to get hurt or physically hurt or anything like that. It's good for them. It's good to fail. It's good to learn. It's good to make these mistakes. And encouraging that is where we're going to get better, I think, in the long run.
Absolutely. Well, as a teacher, you must know that the educational model, the standard educational model is based on a Germanic system, which is focused on creating soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
People who will obediently just listen, follow orders, sit still, do what they're told, get up, sit down, permission to go to the bathroom. Like you want to indoctrinate people that you listen to authority. It's not always about learning.
No.
It's about creating obedient citizens who will do what you want. And I'm not a proponent of homeschooling either, because America's leading export today is imbeciles. So that doesn't seem to be working.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
So other than failure, are there certain things you force yourself to do to grow? Do you ever go to talk with other voice actors, or what do you do exactly to help yourself improve in the trade at your own will?
Absolutely. That's a wonderful question. And I think, you need, excuse me, you need outside feedback, particularly as an artist. And there's a fine line, because if you listen to everybody, you'll go in a million different directions. So it's a dance between trusting your own artistic instinct and your own story that you want to tell, and getting feedback from what's working, listening to the best and learning from them. Oh, they did that over there. Okay, let me try that, And we're all stealing from each other, so to speak, and improving on it. So I listen to, I'm in a weekly voiceover workout. We read copy and then we coach each other. And I've taken a lot of classes. I've looked at a lot of seminars. I decided when COVID hit, this has been my dream for so many years, and I never really focused on it. And now's the time. Now, this is the moment.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah. Which is an awful show other than that. Speaking of musical theater, we lost.
Was good and bad.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about that pre-show. I was like,
Stephen Sondheim, 91.
Sweeney Todd, I'm gonna nerd out about this. One of my favorite musicals of all time. It is my favorite. I was in a production of it in my senior year of high school, and I was the Sweeney Todd understudy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yes. But being part of the ensemble, I was disappointed I didn't get the lead. Which
give us a little bit of any of this, any of Sweeney's songs.
Any of Sweeney's songs? Oh boy, I have to dust it off the shelf. Oh my goodness, it's been a few years.
Joanna, do Joanna.
That's too high for me. I can't do Anthony's part. Mrs. Lovett, what a charming notion, eminently practical and yet appropriate as always. As you said repeatedly, there's no point in reflecting on the past. So come here, my love. Like that stuff. I just love.
That was good, man.
The history of the world, my dear.
Oh, Mr. Todd, we need you, dear.
Is everybody goes down well with me?
Oh, yeah.
I played percussion for that, so I don't know the words as well. Crash.
But there was so much to his lyrics and his music that was just so, what's the word I can use? I was trying to use a pun. Enticing,
cutting edge.
Cutting edge is a good one.
Just thinking, I'm going with the razor blade theme.
The music is very filling. It was so bad.
You're incorrigible.
No,
But
I
yeah.
love Sweeney Todd too. I got to see a production of it in New York at a place called the Barrow Street Theater. A tiny little theater, maybe 60 or 70
Yeah.
seats.
I heard about that.
Yeah, you're in Philly. If you hear of them doing anything, they do these great reimagining of classic plays. I saw Sweeney Todd there, and I saw Our Town there, two of my favorite
nice.
plays. And Sweeney, they changed the whole thing into a pub, so you're there. You know,
That's pretty cool.
to Mrs. Lovett's Pie Shop.
Yeah. I love the different renditions
awesome.
they do of that. Like they reprised it in 2004 with Patti LuPone, I believe it was. And they completely changed the entire scenery of it. It was just awesome. It was, like you said, this little pub, little scenery.
Do they bring you drinks?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's so cool.
Fantastic.
And pies. You could buy meat pies.
You can buy meat pies.
I wouldn't want to eat a meat pie if they offer you one.
Well, you're a vegetarian, so.
Yeah, I have an excuse.
You have an out. You're fine.
You have a veggie pie? I wonder what they put in that.
Oh.
Vegetarians.
Yep. They're
Oh,
made from
boy.
real vegetarians.
But I got to say, the first thought I had when I heard that Sondheim had passed is that he cut out just before the new West Side Story was released.
I know.
This child's like, you know what? I'll just is my exit, guys. Check.
Stage right. Yeah.
You know what? Art,
Yes.
can you tell us about being a superstar?
Yes.
What does that mean?
I love the alliteration, and I needed a clear brand. And I think it's important in this business to present a confident face, even when you don't feel confident. There's a line in Mel Brooks' Producers, if you got it, flaunt it, which encapsulates great advice. My mama told me modesty is a virtue, but in the theater, modesty will hurt you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
If you got it, flaunt it. Step right up and strut your stuff. And he has a new autobiography out, Mel Brooks, which I'm looking to get.
It's all about me, right?
Yes.
I love him. He's great.
Well, what's he got coming out on Netflix? There's a continuation of something A History of the World Part 2.
Yes, he's working on the History of the World Part 2. And the people in that writer's room, he assembled an incredible writer's room. Paul Rudd is in there writing it with him. Who else? Wanda Sykes is in there. But he co-wrote Blazing Saddles with Richard Pryor.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why it's so sharp.
That's awesome.
Those are probably one of the funniest movies of all time. That Young Frankenstein.
Oh,
Frankenstein.
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 Are you Igor?
I got to meet
Igor.
what's her name? I got to work on a set with Cloris Leachman, Frau Blucher.
Really?
And you know the inside joke is Bluche is Yiddish for glue. For glue. So when they said that's why the horse is like, wait a minute.
Oh, it's so clever.
Well, Bluche. And then they all go inside, and Marty Feldman sticks his head out again. Bluche.
One of my favorite things that Brooks says is that if you ever want to hide from Marty Feldman, you just put your nose up against his nose, and he'll never find you because his eyes will go in opposite directions. If you want to play hide and seek, that's what you do.
I'm not mad, Igor. Just tell me where you got that brain. I won't be mad.
Abby normal.
Abby who, Igor?
Abby normal.
You put an abnormal brain?
Abby normal. Well, you seem like a guy that has a lot of gratitude. Like, just talking to you, you just seem very grateful. And I think that led you to your gratitude challenge. So what's going on there? I see you on LinkedIn. You have this amazing profile, and it's so uplifting. I mean, most of LinkedIn is actually quite positive, unlike Facebook. And I'm always drawn to what you have to say. So what led you to that? How do you keep that sustained?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 7 and going on 8 years.
Oh, wow.
One day I was in a really shitty mood and I decided to do something about it and write a list of things I'm grateful for. And then this new thing, Facebook, was happening. So I decided to post it on Facebook. Yes, long ago, we didn't have the internet. We just drew things on the wall and everybody walked down the street telling people what we had for breakfast.
Sounded like
strangers. So I started posting it on Facebook, and it felt good, and I started doing it. It became like my daily practice. So, there's a few days I've missed, but by and large, over the course of 7+ years, I've done it almost every day. It's some people meditate, some people yell at their dog. That's one of my morning rituals, is to write a gratitude list. And my intention also was that it would inspire others to write their own gratitude list, because in my view, gratitude is the secret sauce. It's a way of bringing yourself present, rather than worrying about fretting over the past or worrying about the future. What's right in front of you right now? And there has to be something. You're breathing. Okay, one day you might not be breathing, or God forbid you have a disease and you can't breathe. You're going to be grateful for breathing.
Yeah.
So little things. I mean, most of us live somewhere we can get clean water and healthy food. Not everyone has that privilege. So, there's a lot to be grateful for.
My 6-year-old, we just had Thanksgiving, obviously, and my 6-year-old was asking me the meaning of Thanksgiving, and that it was just such a wonderful moment to explain to her exactly why we are thankful for what we have. And so she's like, "You mean people don't always have big meals?" I'm like, no, people don't always have big meals or warm places to eat. And then she said something. It was I want to get it right. I think she said something like, "I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful." And it was like just this little 6-year-old wisdom. Like I was very inspired by her at that point.
Yeah. I think, yeah. And a child shall lead us. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my older one, it's now 35, when she was 2 or 3, she walked into the room. Just out of nowhere, she said, "I know what God looks like." I said, "Oh, really? Tell us." She said, "God is a man and a woman, and they have really long ears."
Oh.
I said, "Okay, well, thank you for that." I don't know. It could have been maybe she saw something about Buddha, or, for all I know, it was a recollection from a previous life, or the in-between. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Or maybe she thought of a dog as God, because they got long ears. They could be man or woman.
Yeah.
And I like them better than I like most people. So
I had a little Buddha figurine that I had gotten in Chinatown, and she got hold of it and mixed it in with her Playmobil. And so she would have Playmobil stories, and then Buddha is in there as one of the Playmobiles because it's the same size. It's pretty cool.
So Aiden, you had an interesting question lined up here.
Yeah. Hey, Art.
Yes.
Is there anything in your line of work, would you say, that still causes you to experience stress or anxiety, which I'm sure there is a lot being a voice actor?
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is cash flow. That's it.
Okay.
And when you're an entrepreneur, when you have your own business, that's always an issue. And so I'm learning, I mean, whatever you do in life, hopefully if you're growing through it, then
Yeah,
you're probably on the right track. So I'm training myself to worry less and to cultivate faith and take action consistent with that. Um, so much of life is like tending a garden. You plant the seeds, you water it, plant the seeds, you water it, you talk to the plants, and you just have faith that eventually the figs are going to come out or the tomatoes will bloom,
Yeah.
Well said.
Like
even
you
though
said,
you
being
can't see
present.
it, you
Y-
trust.
being present in the moment. Yeah, exactly. Trusting. Yes. So,
But cultivating faith and not just faith, in not just a higher power, but faith in your own abilities. Faith that if you take certain actions, eventually it'll happen, and without evidence, just cultivating faith and believing that what you love, if you do it well enough and do it long enough, you'll create the money from it.
that's wonderful advice, and I really hope we get our listeners inspired after this. So
Yeah, I hope so. And again, do what you love. If you're doing something for a living that brings you down, find a way to stop
yeah,
doing it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Just do it, particularly if you're young. I mean, when we're young, I mean, I remember when I was young, you think you have all the time in the world, you're invulnerable. I mean, that's why they recruit teenagers to be in the army, because we think we're invulnerable and we'll get shot at and it'll be just like a video game. And but that ain't the case. So yeah, if anything I say rings true, focus on what you love. And if you're not sure, meditate on it, ask, think about it, write about it, get clear on what you love, or try different things until something really floats your boat, and then put everything you have into that.
and find something weird about yourself and get the world to pay you for it.
Yeah. And quit fucking around. Come on.
Let's go. Let's get it on.
There we go.
Come on.
Well, speaking of not having a whole lot of time, if in 300 years, this is one of my standard questions. I forget where I even stole it from, but it's
You
become
found it somewhere on the internet.
I borrowed it without permission, so it's ours now.
It's ours.
So in 300 years, if one book was left on the planet discussing humanity and it was written by you, just one book and it's written by you, what would it be about and what would be the title?
That is a great question. I would say if I wanted to, if there was a pebble I wanted to drop in the pond, it would be kind to yourself, be kind to others. So many of us talk so poorly to ourselves, and I speak from personal experience, and that can't help but radiate outward. When you see someone cutting you off in traffic or talking crappy to other people or yelling at their dog, you got to imagine, what are they saying to themselves, because that's just an outward manifestation. So I would say be kind and do your best and love. I don't know. I hope that a book 300 years from now, I hope that people are still reading Shakespeare 300 years from now.
I really do. Yeah, I love Shakespeare. I studied him. Not to go off topic, but I studied Shakespeare in high school, and I've just grown so fond of his language. But also, you have to see it live.
Yeah,
you have to see it live. Like, you can read it, but you need to see it expressed on stage.
Experience it.
Absolutely. It's meant to be performed, and I'm very grateful. Number one, I played Claudius in a production of Hamlet.
No.
And it was so much fun and so inspiring. And I really felt, this might sound like hubris, but I felt like if you're acting in a Shakespearean play, you're literally collaborating with him.
You are.
He wrote these incredible words, but they're just words. They're just, ink marks on a page. You're the one bringing them to life. You're the one being Claudius. And fortunately, I had actors who were really willing to play. And the guy who played Hamlet, who I'm still friends with, we'd be in the wings waiting to go on. I'm playing Claudius, his uncle. And as often as not, I would lean into him just before we went on and say, "You little prick, I'm going to kill you tonight." Fucking kill you. And he'd say, "Yeah, I know. I know."
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant.
So great.
Love it.
Yeah, and then and I took a trip to England a couple of years ago and made a pilgrimage to Stratford upon Avon and went to his grave. I was very, very moved.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And his grave, the marker, he's inside a church, and it just says, "Here lies the body of William Shakespeare, poet."
Wow.
And that touched me so much because of all of he reinvented the English language.
He did.
And just, this was his job. He was a poet, just like that guy's a carpenter, and this guy's, makes barrels, and this guy makes ale. That guy's a poet.
That's cool.
Just so simple to encompass so much.
Genius.
And then we went to the Globe and saw Romeo and Juliet in the Globe.
I was going to ask you if you visited the Globe.
Oh yeah.
And you saw Romeo and Juliet. How extraordinary. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So something else we do on this show, another standard question we have, actually goes to Aiden. Aiden, take it away.
Okay. So, Art, we have this segment on Trial by Air that I'm a huge vinyl junkie. I love
Which what?
Vinyl junkie.
Oh, okay. All right.
I collect vinyl records and stuff. And I actually for Black Friday, there was a sale at this vinyl store near me, and I went to collect a few today. I got a few records. I got what did I get? I got a Genesis record, David Bowie, etc., etc. I just love music. And a question I ask on this show is to our guests, can you name 3 records? And can you give me 3 records that you love? And I will see if I have them in my 700 or plus collection here. So since you are a comedian voice actor, I will take your top 3 favorite comedic albums, or like comedy albums of all time.
George Carlin's Occupation Fool.
Ooh, I do have that one. I have it.
Excellent.
That's what has it got? The 7 Dirty Words?
I think that one, yes. 7 Dirty Words. Can we say that podcast? Can we say the 7 dirty words?
You can say them.
Go for it.
The 7 words you cannot say on television or radio, according to George Carlin: shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
my favorite little segment of that, when he's talking about, he's like, some of the words you can say some of the time. Ass is all right. You don't know. Like, you can be like, well, you made a perfect ass out of yourself. But you can't say, hey, let's go get some ass.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
he also says, you can prick your finger, but don't finger your prick.
Finger your prick. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one.
That's one. Comedy albums. Well, The Button Down Mind of Bob Newhart.
Ooh, I don't have that one. Bob Newhart.
Somebody we don't like to talk about nowadays, but he was had a huge comedy impact. Bill Cosby. Unfortunately, he was a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Very unfortunately.
You know what? Is it a shame that I don't want to listen to his albums because of that entire incident?
Yeah.
Or should I at least listen to his early stuff?
No, it's, he broke down a lot of barriers.
He did.
As a storyteller, comedian, and also as an African American, he opened a lot of doors. Richard Pryor, Live on the Sunset Strip.
I don't have that one.
But yeah, Bill Cosby, I started out as a child. He has the whole Fat Albert bit. Hey. It's a great bit. Philadelphia.
Yeah.
All about Philadelphia.
That's right.
It's a great artist. Very, very sad.
it is a very sad story of what happened to him. He had such a talent, but it was just went the wrong way.
So do comedians put out albums anymore?
I mean, John
It's more
Mulaney, I know
YouTube.
does.
Changed. Okay.
John Mulaney does. I know that. He's actually a good rising comedian.
But
He's been
everything's
out.
strange. There's no record stores. You can't go somewhere and
Right.
buy an album. It's all, streaming and downloaded. And
Like
Oh.
all the comedians that I listen to, I actually listen to them on vinyl. I just bought a Red Fox's "You Gotta Wash Your Ass"
oh God.
for $1.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I'm not talking about your whole ass. I'm talking about your ass whole.
That was a pretty good one. That was pretty good.
I'm
Yeah.
coming, Elizabeth.
Here I come. Elizabeth, this is a big one.
This is the big one.
Dummy.
Oh,
Red Fox. Red Fox,
Mm.
man.
oh
Have you been watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
Yes.
I haven't watched that.
Oh
yet.
my God.
Highly recommend it.
When's the next season? Did I miss it? Is it coming out soon?
It's coming out. I know they've been filming it in New York.
Okay.
They were filming it over the summer, so it's got to be soon. But there's a whole section where she's trying to learn comedy. She kind of falls
Yeah.
into, and she's listening to a lot of Red Fox albums in her room. And her mom is like, "What are you doing in there?" Like, nothing, mom.
That is a fantastic show. Watch that, Aiden. That's your assignment.
Okay, you got it. It's on the list.
Yeah.
So, Art, do you have any kind of upcoming projects coming up with like an audiobook or personal project?
Yeah, but just to finish records, because I was still thinking
Oh,
a
I'm
record
sorry.
that I listened to
my
over and
bad.
over. And I'll be very pleased if you have this in your collection. I'll be shocked.
Okay.
God bless Tiny Tim.
No,
Tiny Tim's
Oh.
first
heard of
album.
it. I've heard of it, but I do not.
Tiptoe by the window.
with me.
And he talks between tracks. Oh, thank you for coming to my record.
Yeah.
He's so fruity. It's so
He was also
he-
a genius, yeah.
He was also a genius too. He
Yeah.
stood out.
he was a very weird
Ukulele and
dude.
all.
I actually got to meet him once. I saw him in a health food store in New York. And he was trying to be incognito, but he was 6'4" and he had this gigantic nose. It's like, come on. What are you hiding?
He ain't hiding from anybody.
I told him I've been a fan, Said, oh, thank you. And he shook my hand, and it was like shaking hand with oatmeal is creepy. But he would go to gigs. He would look like a homeless person. He'd have these shopping bags with his ukulele poking out, and he'd go to his next gig, And then he died on stage. He was one of the artists that died on stage.
That's a very
Sang
sad
Tiptoe
story,
Through the
too.
Tulips, went off in the wings, dropped dead.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's what every actor hopes for. Not me. Anyway, what was your next question?
Oh, no, I was just saying.
Forgive all my rambling.
No, you're fine.
No, we love that.
That's why we're here.
Mhm.
I was just saying, do you have anything upcoming that you want to share with us or anything like that?
Yeah, I just finished my last audiobook. It's a detective novel called Scott's Honor. And it's a series by this wonderful author named K.M. Hardy. And the protagonist is a Scottish detective. He lives in Glasgow, but most of the time he's in New York, and he's a hostage negotiator. So, and it was one of those things. Listen, I'm not sure if I could do this. That's why I should do it. I didn't know how to do it, so I did it anyway.
That's awesome.
If you don't know how to do something, that's all the more reason. That means you're going to grow or
That's
fail. But who cares? So you fail, you do it again.
Yeah, Bowie said that too, David Bowie.
Yeah. What did he say?
Well, he says you can't really figure out who you are until you're out of your depth. And then you pretty much discover what you're made of. I'm paraphrasing. That wasn't a direct quote, but yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Hey, speaking of musicians, have you been watching the new Beatles thing that just dropped?
We're about to
get
do that.
back. Yeah. Did you watch it yet?
Hi.
Oh,
Mommy
Oh,
took the
baby.
sword away from me.
Oh, well, Mommy
Ooh.
took something away from you. Sorry.
What did she take away?
Go ahead and continue.
Hi, sweetheart.
Wave. Can you wave? Okay, she can't wave.
Oh.
Well, the Get Back. I'm sorry. Yeah, Get Back. I have not seen it yet, but we are planning to see it. We have a baby coming in 2 days, so.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you gonna get a new brother or sister?
A new brother.
Oh, yay.
And what do you want to name your brother?
Tata.
No, that's not what you want to name him.
Ted
She wanted
Talk?
to name him
Teddy.
Teddy.
She wants to name him Teddy.
Teddy.
Ah,
That's a
Teddy.
lot better than the first name she suggested. I said, what do you want to name your brother? And what did you say?
Teddy.
No, you did not. She said, Door.
Teddy.
She wants to name him Door.
How about Nebuchadnezzar? That's a good name.
Nebuchadnezzar, Euripides, Macbeth, but not in a theater.
No,
Don't say
no,
Macbeth
do
at-
not say it.
Did not say that in the theater.
Correct.
Well, Aiden, I guess you got.
Or whistle in a theater.
Oh no,
No
bad
whistling.
idea.
No, what in the theater? What did you say? I missed.
Whistling.
Oh God, no. No.
Yeah.
Oh, I learned that. That was bad.
Can you whistle? Can you whistle, honey?
Can you whistle? She's seeing herself on the screen. Well, Aiden, I think you have the honor of the last question here.
Yeah, I guess we'll.
What do you want to ask me, Aiden?
Well, is there anything you'd like to share with the audience that's listening right now? Anything at all?
Yeah, I love looking at your daughter. She's adorable.
She's absolutely adorable.
Just do what you love. Take a breath. Be present. Life goes. You know, it's what's that movie with oh God, I'm blanking on it, with Matthew Broderick, Bueller, Ferris
Ferris
Bueller. Yeah, he has every time I see that film, says, you know, life goes by so fast, don't blink or you'll miss it. Gets me right here.
It gets you every time, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. You
Awesome.
know, it's not BS.
No.
Now I'm not cursing. My language is now PG. But life does go by fast. So get clear on what you love doing and do the hell out of it. Just do it. Grab a hold of your dreams like a bulldog with a piece of meat, right? And don't let go. And don't let go. And don't bite other people. Just hold on to your dreams and fight for them.
That's right.
Right.
You know
got
what?
the power.
You got the power. Hey, do you want to give us like one of your favorite for our last little segment right here? You want to give us one of your favorite impressions to do?
Well, I do a lot. I love Gilbert Gottfried. He's wonderful. I don't know why. Annoys everyone. Love Gilbert.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I find that I do former President Reagan quite a bit more than I should be doing. Until Mother brings me some delicious Ovaltine. A fine beverage. God, I've been doing impressions my whole life. When I was a kid, I used to do Nixon. Everybody did Nixon. Let me just say this to say that. You know, Red Fox does Nixon in his act.
He does. He does.
Yes, he does Nixon on one
Oh
of
my
his.
God. Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I'm always listening to people's accents and copying them. And we were at a Thanksgiving party last night. We're playing a board game, Play Cards Against Humanity. It's so much
Oh,
fun.
I love that.
Yes.
Yes.
And there was a fellow there who's very, very outgoing, but to the point of being intrusive. And he had a thick accent. So I was just answering him and mocking his accent, and everybody was laughing, but he had no idea. Making fun of him.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure having you on the show. We really
It has been a
enjoyed it.
Yes,
pleasure.
thank you.
too,
Yes.
and thank you so much for asking me. That's all. That's all, folks.
Like I said, I'm video.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you again, and let me know. Let's have Daffy say the last word. You're despicable.